Okay, shalom, shalom, kwam yasha'Allah, koholoimlah, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim, Rechachadash, the honors to our apostles and elders, the great millstone, who rule well and that by the Spirit taught us this beautiful truth, and just want to take the water to all the H.I.M and Ahwaf that's out here sincerely keeping the laws, the statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai to the best of their ability. This is Yachanan Nawah, just coming at you with another quick lesson, praying that it's edifying by the Spirit. And I'm driving, so I'll kind of be roughly paraphrasing scriptures, but while I'm at these lights, I'll see what I can pull up. But this is that CEO of GM, right? It says Motor City is becoming Mortar City. Lockheed Martin is teaming up with General Motors to strengthen America's manufacturing and defense industrial base, facilitated by the U.S. Department of War, the company said in a statement Tuesday. The Wall Street Journal reported that GM is in talks to make parts for Lockheed Martin's weapons, and that the companies are still discussing which components the automakers could manufacture, citing people familiar with the matter. And Trump and they were talking about that a little while back ago too, where they want these pretty much like how World War II was. And actually this article, it kind of goes into that as well. So again, I'm driving, the gist of the article is, these automakers making weapons for the military, because GM, they kind of down on the EV, the electric vehicle market. You know what I'm saying? It didn't really come through for them like how it did for a few other companies. You know what I'm saying? So they're into battery making now. Like those EV batteries. But it's like, hey, these cars are too damn expensive, man. You know what I'm saying? Nobody got $100,000 for a fucking car, bro. There's no way that you should be spending 60. You got some cars out here, some smaller ones, where you can probably get for about 30, 40, something like that. You know what I'm saying? You can get a something used. You know what I'm saying? Still expensive as hell. The used cars are just as expensive. You might as well go ahead and get you something new. What they're trying to push, really, in reality, these EV cars onto the people, and it's not working because this shit just too much. These cars are too expensive, man. Girl got cakes on her, boy. It's Lockheed. But these cars are too much. But anyway, they'll get their money on the other side, because what did Trump do? He had that $1.5 trillion. They added like an extra $500 billion to the military budget, so they'll be able to get some of that money. You know what I'm saying? And the only people that's getting paid or that's doing well in this man's kingdom are the 1%, the rich, the technocrats and shit like that. The rest of the citizens are not doing so well. You know what I'm saying? And so, all right, I'm about to pull up to a light. I can get this because it's not a long article, but it says Detroit defense routes. U.S. weaponry stockpiles were insufficient before the war with Iran, but between the conflict in the Middle East, ongoing support of Ukraine, and efforts to increase its ability to deter China aggression towards Taiwan, the military faces an even more critical depletion. In April, senior defense officials in Trump's administration reportedly met with GM CEO Mary Barra, and she done got old as shit. She looked terrible now. I remember when she first came here, and time blows by so fast because it seemed like it was just yesterday when she was here, because she was here when Obama was in office, and Obama was the one that bailed out GM when they was doing bad back then. Detroit went through that bankruptcy. Man, they cleaned Detroit out. They cleaned Detroit out, man. Them lawyers who came through, man, and they done. Imagine a city going bankrupt. They cleaned Detroit out, man. Cleaned this place out. Now they're somewhat finally getting to a point of, like building back up downtown Detroit. Little shit like that. They're not doing nothing with these west side, east side, raggedy ass neighborhoods with this blight. They tore down a lot of houses, but you're not replacing them with anything. You know what I'm saying? It's like, just big open ass lots, And that's pretty much about it. But going back to the article here, because see, they need to replenish, and they've been exposed when it comes to Iran. When it comes to what happened in Iran, now these other countries like China, they like, well, shit, these motherfuckers can't stop us from taking over Taiwan. We got the blueprint from Iran. Russia the same way. Oh, these niggas, they can't stop us from, you know, and they don't want no smoke with Russia anyway. Can't stop Russia from going in there and taking all of Ukraine, you know. So they're trying to figure shit out. It's not looking good, man, you know, and that's the fall of our enemies right there. You know what I'm saying? That scripture, Sirach, or Ecclesiasticus in the 1611 King James Bible, where it talks about happy are they that are you know, see the fall of their enemies, and we're watching the fall of our enemies. Esau is doing bad, man. All right, I'm about to pull up to another light. I can get a little bit more of this article. And it's not just GM. They're going to use all these companies, man, because World War III, that third world's war, is on the rise, man. It's already pretty much in play. Okay, it says GM CEO Maribara, which we know that women shouldn't, you know, be in these positions or usurp authority over the man, but that's Esau. It says Ford Motor CEO, yep, so see, Ford is involved, Jim Farley, to discuss the company's manufacturing weapons and military supplies. The efforts to bring automakers into the weapon-making arena are reminiscent of World War II. Yeah, because they know that with the that second war was past, the third war cometh quickly. It's got that Revelation 11 and 14. Matter of fact, let me see here. Yeah, just roughly paraphrasing, but you can see Ford, GM, who else is you know, and a lot of these other companies as well that's not necessarily into car making, but you know, but they deal with components, you know, or they have the capacity. Because I remember when COV19 went down, these companies, they started to make those breathing machines and shit like that, and they started to make sanitizer and masks and shit like that. You know, they was mass producing, you know, those you know, hospital shit, you know what I'm saying? So the only people that just, you know, only people that made money during COVID-19, and those people got super rich, man. Millionaires became billionaires, billionaires became fucking trillionaires, you know, type of shit, while everybody else is doing horrible. All right, let me see. I'm at this light, so I can probably get this script real quick. They know what it is, man. It's already in play, man. You Edomites are through. Because all them damn weapons you got right now, you couldn't stop Iran. So what's the deal? No, 11, Salaki. Revelation 11, 14. It says, the second woe is past, which was World War II. And behold, the third woe cometh quickly. That shit is in place. See, all this, you know, they talking about peace and safety. The scripture talked about when they get to yelling peace and safety, you know, roughly paraphrasing, beware, man. Now they talking about they got to deal with Iran and all this other shit, man. Israel not about to let that shit slide. You crazy? Israel already said that they don't agree with that shit. You had the one guy, I'm not sure if he was the prime, not the prime minister, but I'm not sure what position he has in Israel, but he was quoting the scriptures. I think it was Isaiah 41 and 14, where it talks about Jacob, thou worm. Matter of fact, you know what? Let me see. I'll see if I can get it. But you know, he was all talking about how, you know, Israel is, you know, you know, it's just a bunch of bullshit, man. They're not about to allow this deal to go through, and supposedly they kept Israel out on what the deal actually was. You know what I'm saying? Because they trying to get like the real paperwork. Like, okay, so what's really the deal? Like, what did Trump actually promise them, or whatever the case may be? And Israel is being pushed out because, you know, they've been spying. It's been found out that they've been spying on some of America's main top diplomats, so to speak, or they're, you know, people that's in Trump's campaign, where they've been keeping tabs on their phones. They've been spying on them. So Israel is a super enemy to you Americans, and it's just crazy that, you know, you haven't done anything about these people actually infiltrating your country like how they have, man. It's crazy work. But you know what? Hey, it is what it is, man. You know, all praises to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. The apostle do the Willie D clap. You know Willie D. He be like, yeah, man. Hey, all praises to you. How about you? I was shot for the fall of this place, man. You know. So they're trying to get these, and they can actually make them make weapons. That's I forgot what law it is, but they can stop them from. That's what happens with these corporations, man. Yeah, he was trying to run this scripture right here down. Fear not, thou worm, Salakia, Isaiah 41 and 14. 144 called Lo Yim Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. Fear not, thou worm, Jacob, and ye men of Israel. I will help thee, saith Yahweh, and thy Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel. And see, he tried to use that scripture, and I'm looking at this, I was pissed, bro. But we know, you know what I'm saying, but you're not a worm. You're doing just fine. The worm is that's going off into how helpless the real Israelites are. We're helpless. So-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, we're the true biblical Hebrew Israelites. We don't have no military. We don't have AIPAC, or we're not lobbying, to have America do this, or we don't have no relationships with any of these other countries, you know what I'm saying, as far as military might. We don't go to no G20 summit meetings or no G7 meetings or any of that shit. We don't have no place in Davos, Switzerland with the World Economic Forum speaking on our behalf. No, the worm is Jacob, the real Israelites, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. And he quoted that scripture. And the only time you hear them quoting scriptures is when it comes to them being in war, man. Because other than that, you living by the Talmud. They have nothing to do with the scriptures. Anyway, but back to this lady looking like the crypt keeper. And she definitely got, all that money. I don't know. I guess it's a job where I'm sure it's a job where you got a lot on your mind. You're running a $1 billion corporation, but her ass shouldn't even be there. But she's looking horrible. I just pulled up. I'm like, damn, that's how I remember her back in the day. She was, but it's been about 20 years or so now. So I guess but still, god damn, so-called black people, they age a little more gracefully. Her ass out here looking like she about to fall over. Okay, but it says the efforts to bring automakers into the weapons making arena are reminiscent of World War II, when President Franklin D. Roosevelt tapped into the manufacturing might of car companies. So it's been like a law really around that time. I think they came up with some laws or whatever, where they can they can stop you from doing whatever you're doing, and then they try and make it seem as if, you're being patriotic. This is your patriotic duty. You wouldn't be the corporation that you are if it wasn't for the freedoms of America, which is built on Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, man. Okay, but it says the manufacturing might of car companies, including GM and Ford, giving Detroit the nickname Arsenal of Democracy. Well, that shit not gonna work. More than 90 years later, new business is likely welcome. Now, mind you, 90 years ago, Jake still being treated like shit today. So imagine 90 years ago, 100 years ago, Jake was being treated like shit, man. More than 90 years later, new business is likely welcome at GM. And so they have a few other little bullet points there. Yeah, they're going off into the strain of GM. Like, they're not doing well. So it's they getting in on that $1.5 trillion of that money. They like, well, fuck it. While our EV cars are not selling, we can at least, get this money right here. You know what I'm saying? Because there's plenty of money for them to get. Yeah, so it's pretty much going off into their sales as far as the GM. I think Ford is doing better with the EVs. The little Lightning truck. They got the Ford Mustang. Matter of fact, right here where I'm riding through, where the city I just rode through, they just rolled out the new Mustangs, and they low-key as hell. I seen one on the freeway yesterday where it just looked like a regular car. Of course, a lot of these police cars, but Ford got that police ambulance, You know, that they got those contracts, basically. You know, so even if they don't really sell cars to these Americans like that, even though they may not sell cars to these Americans like that, you know what I'm saying? They got that market. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, they just rolled out these cars to basically entrap. They actually even said it, to pretty much lock down and entrap these. You know, people do be wilding out when they be driving and shit. You know what I'm saying? But the car is so low key, and they got those little. You don't even know it's a police car, of course, until they hit the lights, because it's nothing on the top. They got it blatantly. I mean, they got it like really sly on the side where it says police in the door, but you really can't see it unless you really just looking at it, because it blends in with the color of the car. You know, it's not like a different color from the car where you can actually see it like that. So, you know, that's Esau and his slickness. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, the man is wicked as hell. You know, because I always said, if you want to keep down speeding, if you want to keep down people being on cell phones, all you have to do is just be out here with your, you know, you can park with your lights on, you know, with your hazard or your emergency lights flashing every other mile, every other quarter mile. You out here anyway. So why not, as you're sitting where you're sitting, you know, why don't you just have your lights on so people can be aware, like, okay, well, there's police officers out here and they're surveilling the locations or whatever. Let me slow my ass down. You know, let me get off my cell phone. Let me not smoke this blunt right now. You know what I'm saying? But Esau is not like that, because it's money. You know, he's the entrapper. Scripture says that they hunt our steps. That's Esau. You know? That's going into Lamentations. This man hunts our steps, man. And he's slick with it. He's a cunning hunter. But anyway, you know, I just wanted to and also, you know who's in control of the planet, Job 9:24. The earth is given into the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, wherein who is he? And then Esau was also gifted with the sword. That's how we know who Esau is. Scripture says that the man of sin, the son of perdition, will be revealed in the last days. And that's that man of sin, the son of perdition, is Esau, the so-called white race, man. It's not some red guy underground with a pitchfork called the devil. That cartoon shit. That shit is not biblical, man. It's not biblical with a burning place underground. But this is the shit that Christianity has sold to people, and they really believe it because they don't study. They're not like the Church of Berea, which, you know, we're thankful to Yahweh Bashim Yahushua for our apostles and elders and bishops on down that let us know, hey, you got to study, you got to go into words, you got to look things up, go into the Hebrew, go into the Greek, go into the original, just the studying of it, because the scripture says to study to show thyself approved. So these Christians, they don't. So when a pastor, is nothing for them to tell them something, and they take that shit for face value. No, the man of sin, the son of perdition, is Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. He's the damn devil. He was gifted with that sword. The scripture says that Esau was gifted with the sword. You think these car manufacturer companies, they're gifted, these people can go in, modify a few machines, and build some goddamn missiles on the spot. And pump them bitches out like they cars. And this is what Esau is expected to do, because they know that they're behind. You giving Israel all your shit. You gave Ukraine a bunch of shit. You trying to sell weapons to Taiwan. They even got and they're not even delivering these weapons. The weapons the deals are being made, the weapons are being paid for, but the weapons haven't been transferred over to the countries that's buying them. Why? Because Esau don't have them. And Esau, man, he'll keep your damn money. He done that with Turkey. Turkey ordered a bunch of damn Patriot missiles, defense systems or whatever from America. They kept the money and never did give them their property, man. That's the reason why they started buying those S-300 and S-400s from Russia. So even with Russia, think about them. They're the biggest manufacturers of nuclear weapons in the world is the so-called white race. Whether it's Russian, whether it's the French, whether it's America. Now you got China, they trying to keep up. They got their thing going there. Because they know if they don't, America gonna steamroll right in that bitch and enslave their asses too. They know that. They see what happened to Japan. You see? So China has been a step ahead of them, so to speak. Like nah, we got to get our game up. And China would build some shit in a damn day. Motherfuckers will build a goddamn skyscraper. I've seen China done built skyscrapers in like 50 days. Here you go. You got America. It take these motherfuckers a year to build a small single family home. But anyway, I'm pretty much at my destination. I wanted to chop it up on this because this World War III is on point, man. And it's actually one of the the micro C hip got to come through first though. That microchip, because Esau, he's working on that too. Hell, and he's probably working on weapons to keep you Americans at bay when they start to throw all this shit around. They got the they already got the data centers in place, but they have these warehouses. They've been buying up all these warehouses to lock y'all asses in, because you think it's for the immigrants. Alligator, Alcatraz, and all these fucking these campgrounds they got for those things are for you Americans. And more than likely, if you get out of hand, they build it. They ain't no telling what these car companies are about to build for the American military, man. They gonna build some shit for you citizens too. So you see this the old crypt keeper. But yeah, man, hey, we're there, man. So the microchip got to come, and then World War III. Hey, man, we out of here, man. So keep your head on a swivel. Continue on praying to Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, man, for deliverance and for the downfall of this kingdom. Pray that they fall, into the trap which they have set and built for us, So I'm going to end out there. Pray that the lesson was edifying. Kwam Yash Allah and the Baba Boy.